Welcome back to the lecture series of hydraulic structures. And today we are learning about diversion headworks. In the previous session, we had learned about energy dissipators. These are the devices which are used. These are the components which are components of a dam, which are used to dissipate the energy of the flowing water from upstream side to downstream side from different types of spillways. So in this particular class, we'll discuss about diversion headworks. So canal headworks are the structures which are constructed across a river. So in canal headworks, there are two types. One is the diversion headworks and the storage headworks. The storage headworks are constructed to store the water. They are dams. Okay. Whereas diversion headworks are constructed to divert the water from the river into a canal. Okay, so let us see what are the different components of a diversion headwork and what is the function of each component of a diversion headwork in this particular lecture. So I'll share my content. Yes. So diversion headworks, as I told you, this is a type of canal headwork. So which is used for diverting water into a canal. So you can see this is a 3D picture of a diversion headwork. So if you understand this 3D picture thoroughly, it helps you in remembering the things. So in this picture, you can see that the river is flowing from the upstream side. This is a river which is flowing from upstream end to the downstream end, downstream. So this is a downstream side and this is upstream side. You can see that a wall is built across that. So across the river. So this is a wall. Similarly, there's a wall this side, and this wall. The construction of this wall will help to raise the level of water. Raise the level of water on the upstream side, and this arrow marks is showing the direction of the flow of water. Is showing the direction of flow of water. So in this wall there are gates. There are gates. You can see these one. These are called as the gates. If these gates are lifted up or if they are open, water can flow from upstream end to the downstream end. But you can discharge the water from the upstream end to the downstream end. If there are gates, it is called as a barrage. If the wall, the obstruction wall, this is obstruction water flow obstruction wall. So if it has a gate, then we call it as a barrage. If it doesn't have gates, it can also the wall can also not have gates. So then it is called as a weir. So a wall with gates is called as a barrage. A wall without gates is called as a weir. That is a difference. So you can have a beer or a barrage. And this wall, this is the red one, is constructed in the direction of flow and it is perpendicular to this obstruction walls. So this will divide the flow of water. This will divide the flow of water. You can see that some part of the water will flow to this zone and some part of the water will flow to this zone. So the water which flows into this zone can be let into the downstream side using the gates on the gates of the barrage, or it will just overflow over the weirs. Whereas this side, you can see there's another wall this side perpendicular to this obstruction wall and a gate here. So if this is called as a canal head regulator. So this is a canal. This is a canal which is perpendicular to the direction of flow of the river. So this is canal head regulator is used to let the water from the river into the canal in a controlled manner. In a controlled manner. So here water, as the water flows, as the water flows, the velocity of the water gets reduced here, get reduced, and a water pocket is formed here. When the velocity of the water gets reduced, the silt which is carried from the river will get accumulated at the bottom and they get collected in these tunnel like structures which are constructed on the upstream side. Upstream side, this is called silt excluder. This is one of the component of the diversion headwork. So this silt excluder, in the silt excluder, all the silt will get collected. This is to prevent the flow of silt into the canal. So if the silt flows into the canal, it's discharge capacity will get reduced. Therefore, the silt has to be avoided. Silt should not flow through the canal head regulator. Therefore, this canal head regulator is placed and silt is collected in these tunnels. And when sufficient quantity of silt is collected in the tunnels, they can be removed with the help of this under sluice, and they are also called scoring sluices, which are at the bottom of this walls. They are also gates. They are also gates. They can be opened, and they're usually kept open, and only during flood times they are open. So with the help of these gates and the silts can be led to the downstream side. Downstream side. So and we this these are all the different components. One is the weir or a barrage. Okay, you know the difference between a weir and a barrage. Barrage is one which has got gates. Weir is one without gates. And then the divide wall will divide the flow of water into two zones. And then there is a canal head regulator which will regulate the flow of water into the canal. And then there is silt excluder which will collect the silt in the upstream side. There is under sluice which helps in taking out this silt collected on the upstream side. And there is a fish ladder here, fish ladder, which is built parallel to the divide wall. As the name itself indicates that the fish can move from the downstream side to the upstream side using this fish ladder. Each component we will discuss in detail. So this 3D picture, if you remember and understand, so you will understand each component easily. And then there is guide bank and marginal bunds. So this guide banks will and marginal bunds are the river draining works. So it will allow the water to flow in an axial direction towards the canal regulator, towards the canal regulator. So without much uh, velocity, so the velocity gets reduced slowly and it flows in uniaxial direction. That is what this guide bank will do. And marginal bank bunds are constructed on either side of the river banks, parallel to the river banks. This is to protect the area surrounding it, so that the water will not overflow and damage the crops or the villages which is around, which is near this canal regulator. So we will take up each components in detail. Okay, this is the plan. This is how we can draw schematically. So this is the marginal bund on both the sides which will protect the surrounding areas, and the guide banks will guide the river to flow towards the canal regulator. This is the structure, this is the diversion network. And you can see this divide wall which is perpendicular to these obstruction walls. This is the weir or the barrage. Okay, and this side is the wall. And here the you can show this silt excluders, and this side is the canal head regulator, and here is the canal. So water from this pocket flows into the canal and the silt gets collected, and to this wall on the downstream side there will be gates. They are called under sluices or scoring sluices, which is used for taking out the collected silt. Okay, so we'll revise once again. So what is a diversion head work? So it is the work which is constructed at the head of canal in order to divert the river water towards the canal is known as the diversion head work. So it is a structure which is constructed across a river near the head of a canal, where the canal starts. Okay, they ensure regulated continuous supply, mostly silt free water with certain minimum head in the canal. So they will see that there is continuous supply of water into the canal, and that too silt free, because silt excluders are constructed on the upstream side in which the silts get collected. So in the canal, the silt free water will be allowed through the canal head regulator. So these are the different components: weir or barrage, divide wall, fish ladder, canal head regulator, silt excluder, scoring sluices, and under sluice. So there are two things which you should differentiate. You should be able to differentiate. One is the silt excluder, in which the silt gets collected, and the scoring sluices are the sluices through which the silt is removed. Okay, then the marginal embankment and the guide bank. So what is this weir? Weir is a solid obstruction. You can see in this picture, it's a solid obstruction. There are no gates. There are no gates. So over this, the water just flows over this. The main function of this weir is to raise the level of water, because this is constructed across the river. Because of this obstruction, the level in the upstream side will rise. This is a weir. So you can see that in the weir, this is a crust level. The top of the weir is called as a crust level, and the water level on the upstream side is called as is stored up to the crust level. This is up to the crust level. There is no water above the crust level. So you can have in the second picture, this is weir without shutters. You can also have weirs with shutters. That means a crust shutter can be provided here. So this will in addition will impound additional amount of water. This becomes the pond level. The top of the crust shutter will become the pond level. Here the top of the crust will become the pond level. So the water which is collected due to the crust is P1, which is equal to P. There is no water due to shutters, but here you can see there is P1. This is P1 and P2, but the water which is collected because of the weir is more compared to that of the shutter. So here ponding by crust shutter is P2, ponding by raised crust is P1. So P1 is much greater than P2. This is the total ponding, P1 plus P2. Here there is no P2 because there is no crust shutter. This is a weir with shutter and weir without shutters. And say next is a barrage. So that is a difference between. So here no gates, but a crust shutter can be provided to impound extra water, to pond extra water. Okay, so this is a barrage. You can see that there is gate. There are gates which can be adjusted, and they are fixed between the piers here. These are called as the piers. These are the gates. So here the water is ponding is done because of these gates. You can see in this picture. So this is the gate, whereas the weir height is very small. Weir height is very small, and the water ponding by the crust level of the weir will be wall, or you can say that an obstruction wall will be very less. So here P1 is very much less compared to P2. P2 is done by ponding by gate. If you adjust the gate level, you can regulate the flow of water towards the downstream side. So here P1 is 0, P2 is equal to, so you can have a gate above. So the ponding done by this barrage is not there, only because of the gate it is there. So P2 is equal to P. P1 is 0. The ponding done by the barrage is not there. It is 0. So this is barrage without any raised crust. Crust is not raised here, only gates. The ponding is done only by the gate. Here the ponding is done by the gate plus a small height of crust level. So on the other hand, if most of the ponding is done by gates and a smaller or a nil part of it is done by a raised crust, then the barrier is known as the barrage or river regulator So that is the difference between a weir and a barrage. Barrage will have gates. Most of the ponding is done by the gates. There, most of the ponding is done by the crust level. The difference between the weir and a barrage, they are of low cost because gates are not there. Barrage is of high cost, low control on flow. The gates are not there. So when the level of water rises above the crust level, it will start flowing. A relatively high control of flow and water levels by the operation of the gates. So you can adjust the gates to any level to allow the required quantity of water to the downstream side. Chances of silting on the upstream side is more in case of a weir, but silting can be controlled by judicial operation of the gates. During floods and all, if the gates are removed, silting can be avoided. Okay, then the divide wall, this is the other component. One component is the barrier wall, which can be a weir or a barrage, whereas this is a divide wall. The divide wall is constructed in perpendicular to the weir or the barrage in the upstream side. This is the divide wall. The divide wall is a long wall constructed at right angle to the weir or a barrage. It may be constructed with stone masonry or cement concrete. Stone masonry or cement concrete. There are some functions of the divide wall which you have to remember. It forms a still water pocket in front of the canal head. So it will divide the flow of water into two zones. One, it will allow some portion towards the weir and some portion towards the canal regulator. Near the canal regulator, it forms a still water pocket. Still water pocket, the velocity gets reduced so that the suspended silt can be settled down, which can then later cleared through the scoring sluices from time to time. Okay, so it will form a water pocket near the canal head. That is one of the main functions. So still water will be there or silt will get collected. It controls the eddy current or cross current in front of the canal head. So it will control the eddy current or the cross current, and wait for the velocity gets reduced. The velocity, therefore, all these things will be avoided. It provides a straight approach in front of the canal head. So there will be a straight approach of water into the canal head. It resists the overturning effect of the weir or barrage caused by the pressure of impounding water. So it helps in stabilizing the weir or the barrage. In the structure will get stabilized because of the divide wall. It will support the weir or the barrage, which will be subjected to water pressure of the impounding water. Then the next one is a fish ladder. You can see this fish ladder. These are called as a baffle walls, which are constructed. This is to reduce the velocity of water. These are constructed to reduce the velocity of flow of water, so that fishes can easily swim through these, and it will move from downstream to upstream side, where more water is available on the upstream side. So, for the movement of fishes along the river, a fish ladder is essential. In the fish ladder, baffle walls, these are called baffle walls. It is parallel to the divide wall. It is constructed parallel to the divide wall. Okay. So, in the fish ladders, baffle walls are constructed in zigzag manner. So, this will reduce the velocity. So, see, it should be seen that the velocity does not exceed 3 meters per second. The width, length, and the height of the fish ladder depends upon the nature of the river and type of the weir and the barrage. So that has to be decided depending upon the river, the location of the river, or the nature of the river. Okay. The next is the canal head regulator. This is at the head of the canal. So this is the canal which is in trapezoidal shape. You can see that the water, the silt free water from the diversion headwork is flowing through these gates. So you can control the flow of water or regulate the flow of water through these head regulators. The operations can be done from the platform above this. So there's a platform above this. These gates can be operated from the platform. So it consists of number of piers like this, which will divide the total width of the canal into number of spans. So here the total span is divided into four smaller spans. It will regulate the flow of water. So canal head regulator, it regulates the supply of water entering into the canal. It controls the entry of silt in the canal. It prevents the river floods from entering the canal. So in the canal, the discharge, the quantity of discharge has to be maintained. So therefore, silt is avoided, and also the river floods should not enter the canal. And these are the silt excluders. These are in the form of tunnels. These are in the form of tunnels, and this is the canal head regulator, you can see, and this is the divide wall, and it is built on the upstream side, and here the silt gets collected inside these tunnels, and the size goes on reducing towards the regulator. Okay, to eliminate the suspended heavy silt, and silt excluder is provided. Silt excluders are those works which are constructed on the bed of the river upstream of the head regulator, on the upstream side of the head regulator, on the bed of the river. It consists of series of tunnel starting from the side of the head regulator to the divide wall. Okay, it is from the divide wall or to the head regulator, or from the head regulator to the divide wall. The clearer water enters the head regulator. Clearer water will enter the, and the silted water enters into the silt excluder tunnels and passes through the scoring sluices, which is constructed across the barrier. Okay, the barrier wall. The scoring sluices are the opening provided at the base of the weir or barrage. These openings are provided with adjustable gates. When the silt deposition becomes appreciable, the gates are opened and deposited silt is loosened. It will be normally, when it gets accumulated, it will be very tight. So it has to be loosened with the help of an agitator mounting on a boat. So somebody should come and loosen that silt, open the gates and loosen the silt, and the muddy water will flow to the downstream side through the scoring sluices. These are also called as under sluices. There are two names: scoring sluices and under sluices. Then the gates are closed, but during floods they are kept open. Okay. Then the marginal embankments. These are the marginal embankments or the marginal bunds which are to be constructed near the weir side in order to ensure smooth and an axial flow of water. The river training work. This is called as a river training work. They are required at the canal head works. The river training works are the guide banks and the marginal banks. The marginal banks, it prevents the flood water or the storage water from entering to the surrounding area. That means it protects the surrounding area, which may be submerged or may be waterlogged. If there is a floods, the water should not flow. So it is raised to a certain level so that the water will not overflow. So these are the bunds which are constructed on either side. Okay, it retains the flood water or storage water within a specified section. So in that particular area, it will retain the flood water. It protects the towns and villages from devastation during the heavy floods. It protects valuable agricultural lands. Otherwise, what happens? Water gets logged in the agricultural lands, so that will spoil the crops. So therefore, it protects the agricultural lands. And these are constructed parallel to the river bank on one or both the banks according to the conditions. According to the condition, if it is necessary, it has to be provided on both the banks parallel to the river. Parallel to the river. The top width is generally kept 3 to 4 meters and the slope is 1.5 is to 1 or 2 is to 1, the side slopes of the bank. Okay, the height depends upon the highest flood level. The flood discharge has to be calculated in that particular area. Depending on that, the height has to be decided. The upstream is protected by pitching and downstream is by turfing. So because of the water waves, it may erode the upstream face. So therefore, the upstream face should be protected by pitching, and the downstream side, because of rainwater, it may form gullies. We have seen the different types of failure of earthen dams. So in that we have discussed about pitching and turfing. So here also, it's again an earthen dam. Marginal bund is nothing but an earthen dam which is provided on either side. So in order to protect and maintain these marginal bunds, these things have to be done. And what are these guide banks? Guide banks serves the following purposes. They are when a barrage is constructed across a river, which flows through alluvial soil, the guide banks must be constructed on both the approaches to protect the structure from erosion. So if there is erosion, it will loosen the soil below, or the foundation will get loosened and the structure will fail. So therefore these guide banks have to be constructed in order to avoid erosion. It protects the barrage from the effect of scoring and erosion. It provides a straight approach towards the barrage. It provides a straight approach towards the barrage. The water will flow towards the barrage. The water is guided towards the barrage. It controls the tendency of changing the course of the river. The river may divert in some other direction, but it will keep it in the direction of it will see that the river flows towards the canal diversion, or you can say diversion headwork. So it controls the velocity of flow near the structure. These are all the functions of the guide bank. So thank you for listening. So today we learnt about the different components of a diversion headwork, the different components of the diversion headwork, and what are the functions of each component. Okay, so let us end the slideshow.